opportunity to use this moment to share with you that snapshot in time. So I had the Bible slide, no point talking about it. So, when we talk about tablet, 5 years ago we used to think about stone tablets from the Bible. So I put that in the picture. And five years ago, nobody knew what a tablet computer was. And today we are in a place where IDC 2013 forecasts that we will have 173 million units sold this year. So that's amazing. It is amazing, not so much that it is the tablet or it's the apps that's doing all the things, but it's amazing how technology is transforming our lives. It has revolutionized the consumer market, and apps have been a central part of that. So what I want to do today is to do three things. Talk about what is this revolution of apps, and then what do the next gen apps look like. So and third is, what does the next gen tablets look like. So I want to spend this 1 hour with you to share my vision of emerging technologies on this marriage. So if I may say, for computers, tablet computers, as well as apps. So what is this revolution? What I have put on the right is a picture of utopia as far as tablet is concerned, where we have all these kind of things. We have battery, we have solar energy, we have mobile phone, we have video camera, USB drivers, DVD player, memory sticks, and so on. It's a utopia. Today we will see how we can take that walk. This revolution of next-gen tablets has taken over the untethered world that we have today, has made the tethered world a thing of the past. Nobody anymore thinks about being tethered to power sources or to cable data signals. The new tablets are smaller, faster, easier, connected, configurable, lightweight, plug and play. They are location aware. They are also very personalized to us. Not only that, they can talk to each other. All these devices can talk to each other by just being proximity of each other through an NFC and Bluetooth. They are wireless chargeable, and they have an instant-on capability. So let's see how we can get there, and let's break it down into the hardware components, the software components, and everything else that makes this utopia possible. So traditionally, how did we interact with electronics? How did we do that in the past? The traditional interaction with the electronics means we have numerous specialized portable devices. These devices had to be controlled individually, and all of them had specific user interfaces. So we use those specialized user interfaces to talk to them. What are some of the example devices that we control today or in the past? Point of sale devices, meter reading, auto diagnostics, barcode scanning, and thermostat. So on the right, I show you a picture of a thermostat, which we still have in our homes, but hopefully we won't have them for long. Why? Because this is my next gen interaction that I want to talk to you about how we interact with electronics in the next gen of technology. We will have a single tablet user interface to interact with various electronic devices. Each one of them will have specific apps. There will be common interfaces that will be used, whether it is USB, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, RF, and they will be mobile on the move. So we can control all these devices. I can control from here my home thermostat. So they will be untethered from the devices. We no longer have to be in the locality or be close to the devices. They would recognize, because of integrated computers, they would recognize the gesture-based UI. So we would have the common UI, the gesture-based UI, no matter what device we are controlling. And they'll have touch screens. What I show on the right is a picture of Satwant Kaur. It is a refrigerator which is controlled by a tablet. Instead of having the normal touch pad where we have different things to configure the fridge, we can configure them with a tablet. Once it's a tablet control, we can do anything from anywhere. So I said that we will talk about next gen tablets, what they will look like. I want to spend some time with that. that tablets are probably less functional than the computers that they replace. But that's not true. It actually has more functions. And it also is the right size. So if you look at the tablet on the right, I want to share that they can be put in purse, briefcase, it gives you complete PC functionality via different apps. They can be portable front end to various kind of things. They can be front end to back end data centers. So large data centers can be controlled by a tablet front end. So we are talking about huge things that are controlled by a small device. On the other hand, if you look at the other hand of the spectrum, it can be a front end, a general purpose front end to something very small as embedded systems all over the place. So we can see that it can be a portable front end to a wide spectrum of different things. Also, it has, the one that I show on this right, has an NVIDIA processor, and it has the mobile gaming and graphics ability to it. Some other features that are here in my next generation are, it will have foldable panels to fit our pockets, and it will also have touch screens and sensors. So in this slide, I earlier mentioned about sensors. So I wanted to focus and talk about what the sensors look like. So a sensing ability to a tablet is a very powerful thing because it has a potential of transforming my life in major ways. What I show here on the right is actually a wiring product, and it is a smart body analyzer scale sensor. So it's really a scale, if you want to use it like that, but it's really a tablet. So the personality here is that of a scale, and it can analyze your body because it has the brains of a tablet. It has touch screen on it and multi-touch. That's one of my other favorites in the next gen tablets that we're talking about. It has augmented reality, which is very important. Movement sensing is another feature, another sensing ability that tablets give us. Another thing is location-aware applications. We have some of them. I think the sky is the limit. That will keep growing. Also, as we talk about the next gen tablets and the emerging area, one area that comes to mind is flights, the boarding passes, the lines. Those may be things of the past because we can sense flight boarding passes and initiate a data transfer so that the flight attendant or the passenger can get instant details, whether it is about the passenger or about the flight or about the status of the flight. So if we are carrying a boarding pass in our pocket and within the NFC or Bluetooth range, we have a tablet that has the right app on it. It can alert us, tell us that this flight is late, it's on time, or it's leaving in the next 2 minutes. So that's very neat. Sensing ability has a lot of potential in changing human life, which is what it's all about. The focus of my slides that I have put together is technology for technology sense, it means nothing to me. But as it impacts human life, as it transforms human life and makes us more productive and happier lives, that's the focus that I have. So technology is exciting from that perspective. So all these emerging technology trends that I have tried to put together are the ones that have the ability to transform our lives. So this is another feature of next-gen tablets. We're still talking about the tablets, what the next-gen tablets look like, what are the different things. So one of the problems that we have with today's computers is their form factor. You can't take them anywhere, you can't make them do anything. Suppose I wanted a tablet in my wristwatch and I wanted to rotate it around my hand. How can I do it? It's a rectangle square thing. I can't do it, but what if it was foldable? It could take any position, it could take any curve around my arm. That would be great. So now let's talk about edgeless touch screens. So there are touch screens that are edgeless, and they have flex touch sensors. So they have sensors that you can touch and they will sense. The other is they're flexible. So what you see on the right is actually an Atman product, and you can see how it is bent. It's a tablet, but it is bent. And so this is one example of edgeless touch screen with flex touch sensors. This is a product of Atman. We can see that this next-gen tablet, this feature makes them thinner, lighter, edgeless, and paper. ASUS have built tablet out of the Atmel sensors, and they are using it in very many new form factors. What it means is we can have very many new touch-enabled products. This also gives a very good touch performance. Not only that, it has a better noise immunity, and the sheet resistance, it's so small, it has a very low sheet resistance. And because it has a low sheet resistance, the power consumption is very less. So that's another important step towards the utopia that we are looking at. Our power requirements have to go down drastically, otherwise we cannot support a wireless life if we cannot power our devices. So the fact that this has a low power consumption was one reason why I picked it for our conversation today. So let's look at the next one. A similar kind of, again, next to tablets, it's called a paper tab. And it's a flexible display tablet. It's called a paper tab because it is a paper, it looks like paper, but it's really a tablet. And this is built by Intel, but the technology came from Plastic Logic for the flexible display. So this paper tab, it looks and feels like a sheet of paper. It can be bent like paper, as you see. And it is also fully interactive. So it's not compromising on any of the abilities that a tablet normally has. It has a very high, flexible high resolution, 10.7 inches display, and it has a touch screen. The processor that is being used here is an Intel Core i5, second generation processor. Another neat thing about this is, just like paper, you can take screens and you can join them together for creating a larger display. So that's a beauty. So I want to look at the next slide now. This is again next in tablet. I'm talking about innovations in display. So we talked power, we talked different things. I'm going to talk power some more actually. But in this slide, I wanted to talk about display. We had LCD displays, we had LED displays, and we have to transform now to transparent glass displays. What you see on the right is actually a conceptual. It's not a real display. It's a conceptual from Corning. Corning, of course, is the glass factory, so they know how to do glass better than anyone else. So we now have transparent glass displays that we're looking at as a part of the next gen. And the other feature is not only that, we should have the ability to have extended displays. What extended display means is that next gen tablet can have display, it can use the display that it came with or some other home displays. It can use TV as a display, it can use another computer as a display, or any other surface of your choice. You decide that's going to be my display and you click to it. So this extends the display options that you have. One more feature of display is a capacitive contact screen. Why a capacitive contact screen is good is because it can sense, and it can sense even a light touch of the finger. And so because it can, a touch screen hardware, it can sense very light touches. It has a lot of applications for human beings in medical as well as many other things. So when the signals are very subtle, then you want to have a light touch screen. Plus, why do we have to bang? We used to bang on keyboards. Even now we are on tablets, we're still pressing things. Why do we have to press things? We can just lightly gesture, move, and the capacitive screen should be able to touch our fingers. So that's a vision I have for the innovations in the display. And this display is the one which shows a dinosaurs in a glass. So let's look at something else. While we are on the topic of display, let's also talk about 3D display without glasses. So today we have 3D display, but we have glasses. It's such a pain. We all know. So how can we do 3D display without glasses? That's a step to take us towards the utopia that we talked about earlier. And the display that I have picked to share with you is produced by Pegatron, and it is an Ultra E display. And this, you don't need glasses to see this 3D display, and it has 2160 pixels to it. And the other thing about this display is it can pull video from various sources, whether it is from a HD source, Xbox 360 and you can see the white focuses and it goes out of focus, right? Then I hear my voice and say, oh my God, that's not right. I maybe perhaps need to go faster. It's the same thing that's going on with the 3D display. If you shift your position too much, there is a bending effect, there's a blurring effect. So it's not affected, but it's a step in the right direction. Okay, another kind of display. So this is a different 84-inch touchscreen display. It's as big as a tablet can get so far. Of course, tomorrow, next year, I'll be talking and maybe talking about 84-inch as something which is very small. But today, it's a part of our next generation, and that's a fun part of being a technologist. No matter what you say, no matter what future you predict, we have another future knocking on the door, and this future is the past. And that's why I love technology. So we are looking at an 84-inch touchscreen display. It's a massive display. Where can it be used? For schools, for museums, and for business. And it can be used in conference room or in showroom floors. It can be hung on a wall like a TV, or it can sit on legs like a table. It can be used in the table mode. The resolution is 3840. So it can be, it has a resolution of 3840 by 2160 pixel. So 3840 is what we call 4K display. So when we say 4K display, we are really talking about 3840 by 2160 pixel. So it has that 4K display. And then it connects, this display can connect to the computer in a variety of interfaces. HDMI is one of them, which immediately works. It also runs. So what is the point of having such a big display if you have to still touch it? So it should be able to read your gestures. So this particular one is big because it runs Windows 7 GestureWorks application. So with such a big display, we got all the people standing on it, people gesturing on it, and you're talking to that display. And the device that you're actually talking would be somewhere else altogether. And that's the beauty of this next vision we're looking at. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Slightly different here, I decided to pick. So what you see on the right is a picture from an electron microscope, but it's a real picture of memristor. So what's memristor and why did I decide to put it on today's conversation? We're talking about tablets and apps and how the next life and technology is going to look like, because it's non-volatile storage. Why is it so important? Because power is important. And when you turn off power, you can't keep power on forever. When you turn off power, you don't want to lose what you had in the memory. So memristor allows you to be alive. The information in a memristor stays alive even when you remove the power source. So it's a non-volatile storage, so we like it. So let's talk a little, spend a minute on memristor. We know that traditional electronic circuits are built with three components. We have the resistor, we have the capacitor, and we have the inductor. None of these three elements has the ability to retain anything when power goes up. So we're talking about a fourth component called a memristor. So memristor came from memory resistor. It has half the qualities of memory and it has half the quality of display. That's how both works. So like a resistor, what does it do? It can create a flow of current through it. So it can hold charge. It can be charged. It can hold a signal in it, 0 or 1 or anything else. So it's like a resistor. It can hold current through it. But like a memory, but what a resistor doesn't do is it remembers the charge. So even when you turn off the electricity, what has vector written on it is actually the fuel cell. So this fuel cell charger can be used for mobile phones. We are seeing that cameras or any other USB power device, because the connection to power is just the USB, and USB is already being standardized a lot in the mobile world. So how does it give the power? The butane is filled in fuel pods, and they're disposable. So you take a fuel pod, use it, done with it, take another fuel pod, put it in. One pod, fuel pod, provides iPhone a charge that will last 2 weeks. It also, the good thing about fuel cell charger is it retains its power. You know, traditional power sources lose drain power at a much faster rate. So this retains its power faster. To give you an example, if you leave a nectar unattended, it loses 10% of its charge in 1 year, which is not bad. So let's look at the next one. So again, we are talking about charging. So I wanted to throw in something else. So this is, when we're talking about next in tablet, we're talking about a tablet wireless charging mat. So what you're looking at is a mat, and there is a mobile device that's put on it, and it's a tablet, and it is charged wirelessly. There are no connections here. And how do we use it? We use what is called QI, but it's called Qi charging. The protocol is used Qi. So I don't know how do you go from QI to Qi, but that's the way it is. So I'm going to call Qi. So we use Qi interface. You know, there's just simply no connection between QI and Qi. You know how to get there. So Qi is our interface standard for inductive electrical power transfer, and it can go to the distance of 1.6 inches. So it's just proximity, you place them next to each other, no need to connect. And mobile device is placed on top of the tablet. And then what happens, there's a transmission pad which charges it, and the process that's used is magnetic induction. So we know that magnetic induction can travel without wires, and that's why we're using it. Therefore, if you have any Qi-compatible phone or a Qi-compatible device, you can use the same mat to charge. And in fact, more and more devices, tablets and other devices, are coming in market which have the Qi wireless system on them. So this is very neat, a step in the right direction. So let's look at something else. So while we're talking about next in tablet, so we were talking about, what we were talking about tablets today was phones. We used to talk about phones, right? And we used to get very excited. Now, are we ready to move to tablet unless we have a transition? So I think this as, if you're going to transition from phone to tablet, this is a combo. This gives you the best of both worlds. It's called a phablet. Phablet because it's a phone and it's a tablet. So this is what you see here is a tablet, but it also is a phone. So you don't have to carry two devices anymore. You carry a phablet and you're done. So this is a product of Huawei Ascent Mate tablet. It has a 6.1-inch display. It uses Android 4.1 Jelly Bean as the operating system. And the processor is actually and I like it because it's a quad-core processor. They realized that for the signal quality to be good, they had to do some things beyond the traditional tablet. So what is being done here is there's a quad-core processor. It's from Silicon, and it's 1.5 gigahertz. It also has augmented reality technology in it. Why? So that you can do navigation and support glove input from the touchpad. The other thing is it has dual mics. So it has Ascent Mate is the model that I have in the picture. It has dual mics. Why? So that the phone calls are much more accurate. And not only that, it can compensate its size by placing a mic on each of the ends of the smartphone. So the quality with this is as good or even better than the traditional phone. So that's very exciting. I look upon that as easy for people to make a transition to this. So, okay, let's look at the next screen and see what I have there. Again, it's a combo device. So now we're talking about combo devices. We're talking about people who are having, I have a laptop here, right? Why should I have a laptop? I brought two tablets, I brought one laptop, and of course, brought my cell phone. Why do I have to bring four? Why can't I do one device and all? So, you see, it's a pain that drives creativity, the device innovation. And we connected, then maybe there it's a laptop, but if you rip it, then it's a tablet. So it's called NV. It has the HP NV into two. It has two devices in one. So what operating system here is, when you look upon it as a notebook, it's a Windows 8 notebook. It has a HD, it has touch display. And when you want to go away and you want to carry it with you, you just slide it off and the tablet slides off. And then if you, one thing that I really like about it, right? We keep talking about the power, we keep talking about we need to do things with less power. Each unit, the two units, have a battery in it. So separate battery using more power. So if you're using it as a laptop, you're using one battery. When you're carrying it as a tablet, you have one battery. You don't have to worry about recharging a lot. So again, by putting Windows 8 on it, it goes beyond the keyboard and mouse interface. It has, for example, you can actually do a swap and tap by using multi-touch gestures on the HD touch display. So it is as high-tech, as innovative a tablet, and it also has all the powers of laptop. So for enterprises, businesses, large businesses, this can be a good solution when people are not yet ready to make that transition to smaller devices. Okay, so next one. This was again my big pain, right? And I think each of my four died in the same fashion. I live in California, the trains there. Either they get wet in the rain, or they will drop off, or I spill coffee on it, or I drop it in somewhere in the bath or in the sink. So my life is filled with moisture all around it. Why can't my devices get over it and accept the fact that this is a liquid bowl and not throw off it every time they get wet? So that's a pain. So I put this. This is a liquid proof. We actually want waterproofing. They say waterproofing, but I put liquid proofing because I drink tea, coffee, all those things. So liquid proofing, and that's why I put this in my vision, because I wouldn't want to have a device that was a liquid proof in future. If you're going to build something, we're going to build it like that. So it has a super hydrophobic nanotechnology. So hydrophobic, it hits water, and it's nanotechnology. And the company it is from, as you can see, it's a device that's so wet, you can see it, it's got bubbles on it, but it wouldn't let any moisture go through whatever coating it has. So you can see from the picture that it's the company is liquid well, and this is a true or liquid proof nano coating that they have. So it is a liquid repellent microscopic coating. It has to be microscopic, and after application, the beauty is it lasts forever. You've done it, and you have applied it, and you don't have to deal with it anymore. It becomes a part of the device. It's almost virtually untraceable. You can't even tell it is there unless you saw water on it. It does not comprise, and the beauty is it doesn't compromise the look, the feel, or the performance of the tablet. So that's an exciting technology to look for. Okay. So now I had so many things. I said, okay, let's summarize, put some things together in one slide before I go on to the next section. So I put 2-3 slides. So pardon so much of text there and no pictures, but I couldn't do it in, it was like a tornado. So when Reinhard asked me to speak here, it was like a tornado in my mind. I had hundreds of ideas to put it together. How do you put them together in 1 hour presentation? So the challenge was not making the slide. The challenge was in picking what I can get by in this hour. So I did put some of them together, and we can always talk more. So medical scanning, that's another big area. 3D camera for medical scanning and imaging. That's one of the big. The medical, we can, as convenient medical help to human beings is one of the big areas where we should do breakthrough with technology. If we do nothing else, comfort, ease, productivity, they all take second after the medical. Because medical parts because they are not sturdy. And if we can have solid state storage drive, that's good. So flash memory is one of the things of next-gen tablets feature that I want to talk about here. The another one that I mentioned is ability to have multiple communication protocols. Because if two devices are talking to each other, then the more languages they can talk in, the better it is. Because it depends on the availability, it depends on the device, it depends on what signal you have. So we have 3G mobile telephony capabilities for tablets. We also have Wi-Fi or wireless connectivity for communication between tablets. We have Bluetooth for connecting peripherals of all kinds. And we have the local devices also for wired connection, for the wired USB connection. The other thing is, when we're talking about communication protocol, is the wireless power. So the ability to give wireless power is also another way to communicate or to transfer not just data and information, but power as well. Wireless internet, NFC is another thing. NFC is not come a long way, but I think near-field communication, I believe that will also have a lot more tablets and apps and different devices will become more and more NFC compatible, which will allow newer use cases to develop and newer breakthrough solutions. Versatility is another thing about a tablet. It will be whatever I want it to be. If I am in the mood to read a book, it's an e-book. If I want to surf on the web, it becomes a browser. If I want to watch TV, it becomes TV entertainment. It is whatever we want it to be. So those are some of the features. I put another slide here with some more features. Again, a very important slide. Pardon that. Hope I can make it exciting. Digital data and documents is another thing. So I had told myself 2012. I actually told myself I'm not even making slides for 2013 January until I digitize my home. I don't want to see any more paper. I don't want to see any more documents in my house. And I was sick of dealing with documents. So that's what I did actually. Before the end of the year, I finished. I put everything that was no document. It's all either on the cloud, home PC, work PC. I can get it from anywhere. And then I started making slides at the beginning of 2013 for that. So it was motivation for me to do that. But that's one area where I think will make our life much better now. So imagine if something happened and if I had to go to a doctor's hypothetical situation, right? And the doctor says, oh, it is related to some surgery you might have in the past. I don't know. I don't have an accident. I don't know that you'll be getting some bone which was done something. But if it is on the cloud, I can immediately go there. I can look into my medical record. I can say, oh, what was this surgery that was done in so-and-so year? I can show that to this doctor and say, oh, this that in the palm of our hand in our tablet. That's great. So in organization, when we can streamline operations, there are many operations applications that are there, like real-time inventory is one of them, and auto tracking arguments. Okay. So this is about operations automation. The other one is a security app. So I got this from Norton, mobile security app. It has the ability, you can lock doors in your home from your mobile device or a tablet or a smartphone. You can do remote locking feature. Suppose the tablet gets lost from remote, you can lock it, you can lock the SIM card if your phone is stolen. The other thing is there's an anti-theft protection. What that means is that there is a scanning, there's also advanced malware scanning. What that means is that it blocks fraudulent websites to drop things on your mobile phone. Download applications that have potential malware. This is something we've been doing in laptops and desktops for a long time. But Norton has come up with mobile security solutions, and that is one of the big things that we should look at as we talk about apps. Healthcare app is another one. I talked about the tablet. Then what you see here on the right is a tablet. And it is a tablet where you are seeing the heart rate, the heartbeat, the blood pressure, and everything, how it's like a community of a human being. Except that you're not looking at it sitting on a computer, but it is a tablet. It could be in the hand of a person who is from the other end of the world, from the person who's EKG. So we can use it as healthcare reference apps, or even educational apps, EMR patient monitoring apps, monitoring patient from a tablet in your hand is the big one. Emergency medical response is another. EMR teams can gain a lot by having the ability to use this as they are trying to do different things. So suppose a person is dying, they need to resuscitate. They don't know if he's having an insulin reaction and they should just give him sugar, or if it is a heart attack. But by using this application, they can get everything on the palm of their hand about the patient that they're trying to save life. Point of care application. And even personal care, like diabetes is a problem that requires a constant management. Diabetes buddy is an app to do that. This one is a Snapchat, which is ephemeral. So the good thing about this, it's a sharing app like so many others like Facebook and this and that. However, it's an ephemeral sharing app. Why? Because it values the ephemeral. Nothing stays there permanently. So they say great conversations are great because magical when they're shared, they're enjoyed, but they're not saved. How many of us got into difficulty with things that you shared, but they show up decades later maybe? So the problem that Facebook and Instagram have had, because once you share anything, you get into privacy and legal issues around that. So you can share pictures, but the history is not stored forever. The fragment only remains in people's head. So this is again another one. I picked TV or tablet. I talked about enjoyment. This is an RCA application. Of course RCA, because RCA does TV, so it's a mobile application. It has dual TV tuner, 8-inch display. It has an ARM processor in it, and you can watch 4-hour mobile TV on this. And it also gives you program information. So that's a great application for watching TV. This other one is a different application. Again about TV. It's from as you investigate, a child investigate, what do I want to be when I grow up? Do I want to be a mathematician, a chef, a musician, engineer, etc.? And the parent dashboards let you control. Also, everything that you do on the tablet is recorded. Okay, this is one of mine. This is a cat, and this is my mentor's tablet, and this cat is my mentor. My mentor is CTO of HP, of my organization, and he shared this with me. And the application is cat call for tablet. So, as you see, the cat is going crazy with this cat toy application. So, there is a squeaky mouse or a fly flavor. So, this is a fly flavor. And every time it runs off the screen, the cat runs after it. It sees where it is. It kind of picks up the tablet to see if it is underneath that. So that's very exciting that even pets can pass time using apps. Talk about looking like tablets, right? So one interesting challenge is there's advertising at the bottom of the page, and every often the cat would hit the advertising, and they wouldn't have to go and reload the app. So in summary, I would like to say that next 10 tablets running next 10 apps again. And there are more innovations on the way. The revolution of the tablet, computers, and apps is underway. And what I want to say is a closing resounding thing here. The future is so bright. We've got to wear shades now. And thank you very much for sharing this.
Thank you, Dr. Kaur. It's myself and I think many here is the finest technology overview we've seen in some time. Thank you for queuing up for questions. We have microphones on both sides of the room. Please.
First, the questions that are coming. Actually, the first one they're coming too. You showed us a Samsung refrigerator. There was an article exactly about the refrigerator in that magazine that actually claimed that the refrigerator is down. Why do I need to get access to Evernote when I open my refrigerator door? Okay, you can do it with your tablet or your cell phone. All right. So I would recommend that you really read, because lots of what they call smart devices actually very dumb devices, including those smart washer and dryers. Okay. So I would recommend that you read the article in Slate magazine by Ferdinand Jules. Okay. Technology section. The other one you mentioned, or maybe I got it wrong, and you showed a tablet the size of a table, right? That existed at least 10, 12 years. Okay, I know people in IBM, I know people in Mitsubishi Electric that use it, I know people in Kaiserslautern in Germany used it 10 years ago. So there's nothing new that actually preceded it. Okay, and lots of research has been done on the interface of using those big tables, how people interact with each other. So nothing new in that. It may be maybe now it will come, maybe the consumer market you will be able to buy maybe a coffee table. But research and experimentation that existed for a long time.
Yes, and I would like to thank you so much for sharing that. So the first thing is that every technology, the greatest of technologies, have had teething issues. They were okay to use in the beginning. Everybody wanted to throw them away. But some of them stand the test of time, some of them don't. But initial frustration with new technology are That is an unfortunate thing, and therefore we all have to be alert about that and make sure that we take this the direction we want. And all of us, each and every person in this room, has the ability to cast the future we want to.
Do you think it's practical, these mind control of apps, that they're starting to use signals from the brain? Do you think they'll be controlling these things mentally in the future?
Control is a different thing. That may be of control. I would say in TV today, when we sit like a potato on a couch watching TV day and night, that is control to me, bigger than anything else. So yes, it depends on how you define control. But I think at the end of the day, human beings are intelligent. We know where to draw the boundaries of control. At the end of the day, I depend on the human intelligence to take the right path. Thank you so much. It's a wonderful point you shared.
Any more questions? And please join me again in thanking Dr. Kaur.